Hello everyone, my name is Aldo, and in this video, I'll be explaining the process of how I made my choral arrangement piece. The music here that I picked to arrange is Nina Bobo, which is an Indonesian medley. First of all, I'd like to explain why I picked this music for my choral arrangement. First, the melody is very simple, and because of its simplicity, you could arrange it in many ways. Second, I'm comfortable with the topic of the music. Since it's a lullaby, the music features a mellow-like atmosphere, which I personally like. The challenges that I felt was the hardest to overcome in this arrangement was the rules of counterpoint. There are some ideas that I like to apply in the arrangement, but applying the idea while still following the rules is still quite difficult for me. So I made some compromises in some of the parts, such as the antiphonal section that I will later on discuss in the video. Before I explain the process, I'd like to point out the features of the arrangement. The arrangement follows the classic soprano, alto, tenor, and bass part, followed by a piano accompaniment. And it's in the key of G major, which later on it modulates the key of D major, or in this case, the dominant. It has a tempo of 100 quarter beats per minute, and the structure starts with an intro, A, B, and then ending. To start off with the intro, I only did an 8-bar piano solo. The one highlighted in blue serves to only highlight the main harmony of the piece, and the second one highlighted in green features a bit of the main melodic idea. Going to the beginning of the A section, I only featured the tenor and soprano, the soprano singing the main melody whilst the tenor counters it. And at the ending of the phrase, the alto and bass are introduced. This time, the tenor is singing the melody and the bass counters it, whilst the alto serves to highlight the harmony at the top by singing the O vowels. But in the phrase seen in measure 21 until 24, the entire 4 voice is singing in chorus adhering to the 4-part writing rule. After that, the next phrase in the A section features an imitative quality. I did this to build a sort of a climax for the section, because if it were to end in measure 24, I felt like it wasn't enough, so I added the imitative technique to do a build-up and to end it in a grand-like fashion in measure 32. And after the phrase was concluded in the A section, I added a piano passage that serves as a transition to modulate to D major. And the one highlighted in pink is the modulation. I used a pivot chord, in this case E minor, which is the 6th of G major. This chord becomes the 2 chord of D major, and its purpose is to set up a 2-5-1 progression to modulate smoothly to the D major key. And going to the beginning of the B section, I used an antiphonal technique where the choir creates an echo-like effect. The choir is singing in parallel 6 voicing because my main objective here is for the main melody to be heard clearly by the listener. But later on in the phrase in measure 46, I did a 4-part voicing technique and it serves as an ending for this phrase. The next phrase in measure 50 features the same melodic idea, but this time I tried going for a more quieter version from the phrase before. This time the tenor and bass are singing in a chorus 6 apart, whilst the alto and soprano are singing in the vowels as a response and also as an accompaniment. And this is the restatement of the original melody, but this time on the piano. This acts as a sort of a softer transition to the ending of the B section. And moving on from the piano transition, this part of the piece is supposed to be the refrain part of the original Nina Bobo music, but I saved this melodic idea and made it into a softer and mellower part. I did this to slowly decrease the energy level of the piece. That's why in this part I used a sustained accompaniment technique, and it later on followed by a pedal point bass in measure 67. And for the ending, I restated the original main melody, but this time singing in the bass part. I did this to create a contrast because the soprano from before was singing the main melody. And at the end in measure 80 until 83, I stretch out the rhythmic value of the melody to give a more slower and more fulfilling ending. And the other voices are also reintroduced, doing a sustained accompaniment to give a more concluding ending. And without further ado, I'm gonna show you guys the choral arrangement, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And that's basically it for my video. I hope you guys found this video useful, and if you ever want to try to do choral arranging, it's going to be difficult at first. Even I still find it difficult from time to time, but just remember, just keep trying until you make it. Thanks, and have a great day, guys.